we will kick off with the main event, which is definitely Batman 95, James Tynion IV writing with Jorge Jimenez on the art. Hey, notably, no Gilliam March.
Who I believe isn't on it for the entirety of Joker War. So we got, 6
Lucky
issues.
us.
I know, so exciting.
Not to tip my hand, but I didn't hate this issue.
That's not like a hot take.
I know, that's kind of a muted, fair thing to say.
But I didn't love it either. It's just there. So.
No, I thought it was a really solid issue.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. Yeah.
The art, I think, does a lot, though, too, because you're not staring at Gil March. And it's Jimenez, who I really enjoy. So it was a happy surprise.
Yeah.
I quite like the issue. I think what this succeeded in doing, and what its goal probably was, is to establish the stakes of this story and make this whatever this conflict in this story is going to be between Batman and Joker, make it feel like it's the biggest conflict they might have ever had, and this has been years building up to this war. And I think the way it was cutting around the news reports, as everything's going on in the city, the flashback at the start with Alfred talking to Batman about the Joker's first kind of not attack, but during that first kind of stretch.
Get in the reservoir,
yeah. I thought that did things, and the idea of Alfred saying that he was always going to be there to help fight him, which obviously is bittersweet because he's not here now.
Yeah.
But I thought it set up this idea that this is going on all around the city. It's kind of DEFCON 1. Everything's happening around them. It felt big. It felt like, okay, things are really happening. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it felt like an event, which is maybe a scary word to say in a comic book because they throw that word around so much, but it actually does feel like an event. So,
and I think that it sells itself as justifying tie-ins. Whether or not we're not going to read most of the tie-ins still.
No,
but it sells the scale of this story that tie-ins seem fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other Bat books should react to what's going on. Yeah,
because Gotham from top to bottom, it's almost like Joker's at war with Gotham because Batman is Gotham. I know it gets thrown around a lot, but now it's to the point where Joker's using Wayne Enterprises to go at war with the Gotham PD. And which is kind of putting Bullock on the same side as Batman, which I know in times that they fight and make up and stuff, but I do like when they're more antagonistic. So the fact that Tynan's gone out of his way now to put them sneakily on the same side against Joker, I like that.
Bullock kind of has to now because he's commissioner, and it's kind of swallowing his pride for the sake of the city. Is kind of a fun take on Bullock. Yeah,
especially when he's presented with this enemy that they know is being bankrolled by the Joker. They know that this is sketchy, and they can't just take the orders and do what they're told. Obviously, poor Lucius is being tortured by Punchline for information.
Yeah, which she feels more of a threat than Harley ever did, which I do like. Because then again, that throws the difference between them and how she's unique and not just Harley 2.0. But she does feel like a threat outside of herself. So if Punchline starts showing up, whatever happens to Joker, and we don't see him for a while, but we get Punchline, I feel like she can hold her own against Batman.
I was ready to complain about something because there's a scene here in the middle where Joker's buying the theater that Bruce went to see Mask of Zorro. Right. And I mean, I like this whole concept. I like everything he's saying and doing, and that he actually gets the film reel and all the rest of it. And the guy who owns the theater is telling stories how he used to say that he could hear the gunshots from the projection booth, but he's not. It's been so long now he doesn't remember if he actually did or if that was just a story he told for story's sake. I was going to complain, is he really just selling his theater to the Joker without question? But I think the idea is that he doesn't actually notice the Joker because his eyesight's that bad. Because there's several references to
No, I took that differently. I got it was he's just terrified. Is because he mentions that Bruce Wayne's come with offers in the past, but but he'd be crazy to turn him down. He's terrified for his life. That if he says no, Joker will just kill him.
No, but he specifically says for what he's offering, though.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think, but honestly, I think you can tell. I think only it's that surprising.
But why does he seem surprised then when there's noises in the theater? Because he keeps saying he thinks he hears voices downstairs, and he's surprised that. I don't know.
Because I don't know, he didn't know about those being in there, but the person he's having a conversation with. Personally, I read it as he kind of knew it was Joker, and yes, the money is great and probably more than what Bruce offered him as well, but also it'd be crazy to turn him down. Specifically because he'd be killed.
Maybe. I mean, in that case, I have more of a problem with it then, because the idea of him just casually telling stories about the theater to the Joker just doesn't read right to me.
I mean, it is a theater that is still propped up in Crime Alley, so maybe he's just like, look, I'm done. Here,
Yeah.
Mr. Joker.
It's the way he's showing him around. Like I had to read it as he didn't realize this was the Joker because his eyesight's that bad. Because the way he's just casually telling all these stories, like he's like he's talking to a potential buyer, and there's not the freaking Joker who murders everyone that he encounters.
To me, it was he's telling these familiar stories to kind of just calm his own nerves, reassure himself that things are gonna be all right. Just get through this, act like normal.
Okay.
That played kind of natural for me.
It feels a bit off to me, but.
He does seem very nervous though too.
Yeah.
Like, look at the way Jimenez draws him. He's constantly wiping sweat from him.
Well, I kind of read it as he was getting more nervous as it was going on, because when he gets to the end and he's like, "Oh, that's my friends down there laughing," and we see the crowd, like, and he looks sort of terrified. It was kind of like more of a realization as it goes on, like who he's talking to, kind of thing. But I mean. But I like the point of the scene though. I like what Joker's doing here. That he's going back to like the start of Batman, and sort of prodding at those things, and that he's going to do so. Also I forget what they call him.
The Underbroker.
Yeah, thank you. The Underbroker is doing all the bank work. That's the one who actually argues with Bullock, and says that he has to follow orders and all that. So I love the sequencing actually. So obviously the little twist there is that Batman was impersonating the chauffeur driver.
Yeah.
And he starts climbing up the building, and I like the sequencing here. The henchman sort of like Batman's like up in the skylight behind him, and then he turns around and he's gone. Just the little things of him like climbing up the building. Of course, it's all subverted when he actually gets to where he's going, and Punchline's already waiting in the secret little bat hideaway.
Yep.
We should mention he uses the basically the vision thing from Dark Knight.
Yep, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The echolocation.
Yeah.
Yeah, or detective vision from the video game, I suppose you could also call it.
Sure. But yeah, no, I like the idea that he has all these secret rooms built into Wayne Towers, like as his backup bat caves. That's something. Of course, he would. But I do like that they, of course, they know that though, because what's his name builds them for him, Lucius.
Yes.
So once they broke Lucius, they broke everything else, and you got to think about how that wouldn't have been Alfred, right?
Yeah, we see that new suit that's in there, which Batman didn't build. Nope. It's kind of unknown at this point. Like he didn't build it. Lucius claims he didn't build it. So I mean, I'm going to assume Alfred built this at some point, and that's where it came from. But the place gets gassed with a Joker toxin that's mixed with a bit of venom and a bit of fear toxin, and just a concoction.
It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, concoction. Yeah. The big cliffhanger is that the Bat plane with the voice of Alfred, obviously either Batman's outright hallucinating or the computer is being manipulated with Alfred's voice in mind, whatever it may be, but it takes a shot at the building, and a big sort of explosive cliffhanger. So that's kind of where the book ends. I quite liked it. I think it's one of the better issues that Tynion's done of Batman. I think, and part of that may just because March isn't on the art.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't think it's a standout issue. I think it's a really solid opening of the story. That kind of like sets it up nicely.
No, I agree.
It continues Tynion's rules of new gadgets every issue.
It sets the mood and it sets the stakes for the story, and I think ultimately, if you want one thing from the opening issue, it's to feel that it's a big deal. It's to feel like what you're about to read, this arc, is going to be a big deal in Batman's life, or So,
I don't like that Joker took time to draw a smiley face on the bat plane. That was a little much.
Yeah, he probably had henchmen do it. He's got people working for him.
And also, we don't know how true that is. This is all Bruce has been gassed with the fear toxin. Just because we're seeing that doesn't mean that that's the actual representation of it.
Sure.
Plus, if there's a character I buy painting a smile on something, it's Joker. not even specifically spell, just a character who would take the time for this theatrical element, it would be Joker.
Yeah.
So I have no issue with that, but no, that was solid. I thought it built up the stakes. I felt the like this impacting the whole city. I feel like a big deal at the start of the book, especially. So hopefully the story can keep this going, and I'd be curious to see how Batman eventually rallies the troops to fight back, and so on.
He's gonna have to.
Yes. But Matt's clearly fallen asleep talking about Batman, so we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Oh.
Going to have to move on here. Matt, what are you giving Batman 95?
I'm going to give this an 8, mostly for the art. I'm just happy to see him in his.
Sure. Car?
It's a 7 from me, which I thought I was more positive than Matt, but whatever.
Matt's scale's broken. We know this.
It is.
So
On purpose.
I will give it a straight 8 as well. I thought it was really, really solid, and I'm excited to see what Joker War goes and becomes.